Hey everyone, Sharon here with Creating with Sharon. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Winnipeg. So today I'm going to show you a card, demonstrate a card, using one of the bundles, new bundles from the new 2022-2023 annual catalog, and it's on page 91 of your catalog, and that is the Nature's Print bundle. Now when I first saw this bundle I wasn't too sure of it until I actually got to see it in the catalog, and then I fell in love with it. Now they have demonstrated everything using everything in blues and a gray granite. The card that I'm going to be making today is going to be in Blushing Bride, white, and crumb cake. So let us get started. So, move the catalog out of the way. So, you want to see the card? Of course you do. So here's the card. So pretty, eh? Okay, so let's start off. We have, our card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, fold and scored at 4 1/4. So there's that. Then we have a piece of basic white cardstock, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. Now this piece is, I'm going to emboss it using the 3D fern embossing folder, and that's just going to fit perfectly right onto that. And then I have a piece of Brushstroke specialty paper. This is gorgeous. It is a must. You get 3 sheets in a package. It comes in Blushing Bride, Night of Navy, and Soft Succulent. So beautiful. And then I have a scrap piece of cardstock, and this is going to be for cutting out the little ferns, little branches. And then I have my cardstock, my basic white cardstock that I'm going to stamp my images on. Okay, so we'll just put those out of the way and we will get started. Okay, so now I have my stamps. So I'm going to use this stamp here, and the flower. And the Best Wishes and Happy Thoughts is the one I'm going to use for my sentiment. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my Blushing Bride ink. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp. You just want to tap it a couple times and then stamp it onto your scrap piece of paper. It's entirely up to you what you're going to do with this. And just let that sit for a minute. There we go. I'm just going to take this off here because I'm going to use this block for another piece of another image to stamp. And now I'm going to put this one away because I'm done with this color right now. I'm going to bring in my crumb cake, and I'm going to stamp 2 of these flowers in my crumb cake. And 2. And then I'm going to bring in this stamp set here, the stamp pair, not stamp set, stamp. And I'm going to just ink that up. And I'm going to stamp it right here. Perfect. Now see how I have this ring right here? It's because I rock the stamp when I put it down. But have no worries, because we will be die cutting that out using the dies from the Nature's Print. So I'm going to be using this die here, this die here, this one here, and since I'm going to be die cutting, I'm going to be cutting out the label also. And then I'm going to cut out one of those and one of those using the petal pink. So I'm just going to move this over to the side. I'm going to bring in my cut embossing machine, or the Big Boss as we demonstrators like to call it. So I'm just going to put these onto here. And I haven't got my metal, my magnetic plate yet. That should be coming in the next few days. So I'm going to just use some washi tape and hold these in place while I cut them out. And the reason I'm doing that is that when you go to put it through, you could actually tap it and it could move a bit. And I don't want that to happen. So just see, it already did. Let's put that right there. I'm going to put this one right here because that's going to where my sentiment's going to go. And I'm just going to cut out one of these flowers for now because I only have one die. So I'll just run it through a second time. And like I said, I'm just going to hold on to it into place. And this one doesn't really matter due to the fact that we're not cutting out any images or anything like that with this piece right here. So we got that piece, got my plates on there. And I'm just going to just pull this back just a wee bit so it goes in on a slant. And it'll cut, we won't do that big clunk when it goes through. And then I'm just going to bring it on through. Oops. And then bring it on back just so it's double cut through the machine. Take these off, and I'm going to, sorry about the noise there, it looks like they're doing touch and goes out at the base, so that's what happens when you live near a military base. It was kind of fun when we lived in Coal Lake, because especially during Maple Flag, that was always so much fun when they brought in aircrafts from all over. And they all left one after another. And when the last aircraft left, the first one came back in. It was so cool. Okay, so we're just going to just do one more of the little flowers here. Just going to just place that right on there. Like that, and run this through, and then I'm just going to just cut some little, I guess, vines. Oh, keep hitting my plate there, sorry about that. And then take this off. I'm going to bring in these guys, and then you don't need to use tape on this one because, like I said, on the previous one, there's no images that you have to cut out. So I'm just place them on the plate like that, and then just run it on through. And I'm just doing one of each. And this one, and then back again. Okay, so now we're just going to change up the plates here. Pretty. Bring in my piercing tool just to pick up a little bit extras. So now we're going to do some embossing. So that first piece I showed you, that was 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. Now I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to put it into the embossing folder. And I'm going to use this line to keep everything straight. And on there like that, out a tad. I'm going to bring in my plate number 4. So number 1 and number 4 is what you're going to do with your 3D embossing folder. I'm just going to just run it through. I like to go bring it through once and then bring it back again. There you go. That's what's going to give a really good impression for you. Okay, so now let's just put all these puppies out of the way. And we'll get started assembling the card. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my card base and my Tombow glue, my liquid Tombow glue. And I love this stuff. It just goes such a long ways. And plus, when you put it down, you still have that wee bit of wiggle room to put everything into place. Now, when you're doing it, if you notice how I did it, don't take it right out to the edges because it will squeeze out everywhere and then you have a mess, right? So just slide it onto your card base just like that. And then I'm going to have a look-see to make sure that it's nice and straight. And I still have a couple minutes to maneuver it. And then just roll my fingers over top of it, just like that. Now this piece here, this is my 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 3 1/8. That this piece here is going to sit right over top on it, just like that. And I'm going to also use my multi-liquid glue to adhere this. And it's going to go on. I like to just slide it into place. That way the glue gets, I guess, everywhere from behind. Does that make sense? And then just go like that. So there's your base of your card. Okay, so now let's go back and pull our pieces in. Just so I have my one little flower. Actually, I should have 2 of those. So 2 flowers. My piece of my sentiment is going to go on to a, I guess I'm thinking that's like wheat. No, it's not wheat. It's a cluster of flowers. My bigger leaves. And then I have my wee little pieces like that. Okay, so now how I did this is I just basically placed everything where I think it should go. And then I just used this to hide where all the stems ended up being. Okay, so and I glued all these pieces down, not to the very end. I just did the tips of this piece right here. Oops. So I'm just going to just glue this piece right here. So I have it coming down on to the emboss piece like that. Now I'm going to bring in this piece. Now if you wanted to, you could snip the ends if you think it's might be too long. And I think this one may be a little bit too long. So I don't want to take any chances. So I'm just going to just snip off the end. Just like that. And put that right there. Hey, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in one of these flowers, and I'm going to have it coming down just like that. And I'm going to, again with this one here, I'm just going to just clip off a wee bit at the end and add it onto there. So if you're watching this video and you're not a subscriber, I would really wish that you would subscribe. And then you get notifications when I do post a video. And if you could like it also, because if you like it, then your friends will see it. And, you know, we all like having friends, right? I like having new friends too. So that's basically how I'm going to do this right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my sentiment, and I'm going to stamp it in the crumb cake. I'm just going to put this out of the way because I don't want to have a disaster. I'm going to stamp it in crumb cake, and it's going to say the same thing, best wishes and happy thoughts. So a birthday card, I guess. And I'll just stamp that right into the center, just like that. Yay! I always get nervous because I always don't want to have rings or something like that, so I get a little excited. So now I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. So my favorite things, I love my dimensionals, and I love my liquid glue. So I'm just going to take, look at this, a brand new package, eh? Gotta love that. Oops. There we go. There we go. So I'm just going to just put 2 dimensionals on the back side of my sentiment. 1, 2. And then I'm going to adhere it right, like see where I said, I'm just going to adhere it right over top of where everything met. So basically hides everything for you. Okay, so I only did it on the ends, and the reason being is I'm going to slide these little puppies up underneath just like that. That way the dimension, if you put the dimensions in the center, you're not going to be able to slide this piece up. So this piece is a little longer than I wanted, so I'm just going to just snip off a little bit off the end. I'm just going to add some glue, and then just slide it back in again underneath. There's one. And then the other one is going to go over on this side. And same thing, it's a little too long. I'm just going to just snip off the end, put a wee bit of glue, liquid glue on the back side. And then just slide that piece in like that. Okay. So I'm not finished yet because we also need some bling, right? So I'm going to grab my picker tool and I'm going to take my end and I'm going to grab a couple of these rhinestones. These are so pretty. They match so well with these colors. And I go with a bigger one and put that one. Oops, right there. So there you have it. Quick, easy card. The best thing is to make sure that everything is all cut ahead of time. And then just put them together. If you're doing multiples, it could be quite easy to do. So if you have any questions, you need to order supplies, please let me know. I'd love to help you out. Like I said, I am an independent demonstrator here in Winnipeg, and your support is greatly appreciated. Let me tell you. Okay, so that's the card for today. And I want to thank so much for joining me. Greatly appreciate it. And you all have a wonderful day. See yous. Bye.